All right, welcome back. We're going to do a regular contour drawing. Let's do a non-continuous, and then we'll also do a continuous contour so that we can see what those look like and what the differences are. So I'm going to tilt my camera down. Here we go. So a regular contour, we're allowed to look at the paper while we're looking at the object and drawing it. I call that windshield wiper looking because, let me show you. You're going to look down, and then you're going to look up. You're going to look down, you're going to look up. And you'll keep doing this back and forth movement, and that'll enable you to see clearly and record clearly, and yeah, that'll be good. All right, here we go. I'm going to pick a spot on my hand that looks interesting. I'm going to start off near the ring on my finger. There we go. Finding the outer edges or the perimeter of that ring. And I'm also following along now my middle finger. Trying to get some of those inner edges. I'm going to look at the shadows too, and I can even make a shape out of the shadows. Kind of encompassing in or making it almost look like a coloring book. Like, where is the shape of that shadow? Where does it fall across that main shape of the finger? Okay, come back into the pinky. And the more you practice these, the better you'll get at them. Okay, so since it is a contour drawing, I'm going to pick up my pen now, and I'm going to place it back down here. I personally prefer to work more with the continuous line. I think it yields more interesting results. And I'm definitely better practiced at that one. But, so actually this is good for me to be practicing this because I'm a little rusty with it. Okay, I'm going to pick up my pen again, come back down for the nail bed. The great thing about the contour is that you can be more deliberate in the marks that you're making to try and get everything to line up. I definitely have some issues with the proportions of my drawing here. And again, practice would improve upon that. Come in, drop in my nail bed here, drop in some of the creases along my knuckle. And just for the sake of this demo, we'll call that a wrap. Let's do a little bit of some of the edges on the knuckles real quick. Okay. There we go. All right. So here we go. Here's my regular contour. You can see that it looks like a hand. It's a little bit more naturalistic. Again, it's not perfect because we're just getting started with some practice here. Your drawing doesn't have to be perfect either. All right, now if this was a continuous line, I wouldn't be able to pick up my pen. So marks like this, I wouldn't really be able to make those because I'd have to kind of draw across my drawing to get there. So it might look something like that. And then it also might connect over here and like this. And that's totally okay. Okay, so you can see some of those lines. So what are we going to do with these contour and blind contour drawings? All right, well, for your next assignment, I would like you to take those drawings. We're going to set up, I think we have like 5 or 6 different objects that I would like you to try and do either a blind continuous, a blind non-continuous, regular contour with a continuous line, or regular contour with a non-continuous line. And we are going to superimpose all of those drawings on top of one another. That means we're going to layer them right on top of one another on the paper, and you're going to end up with a bunch of shapes, just like we did with our name abstraction, but these are going to be what we would call more organic shapes. They're not going to be as geometric, not quite as many straight lines. When you get the assignment, you'll see what the requirements are. I did my hand. You can see that there. I did a French press coffee pot at home. I did my boot. I did something that was in my pocket, which was like a little bulldog binder clip. And then I also did a drawing of part of my wife. Here's her arm, and then if we turn it sideways, somewhere in here is parts of her face. Again, it's not an amazing drawing, but it's enough for what we're trying to do. So we're going to take all those shapes, and we are going to apply value inside of the shapes, shading off of the edges. So I've printed out here, and in our PowerPoint presentation, everybody's going to do a 10 square value square. So we're going to make 10 1-inch boxes, and you're going to practice slowly developing from lightest light to darkest dark. There's 2 ways that we can do this. One is going to be by applying more pressure with the pencil, we're gonna try and ease off on that. We wanna try and do a slow buildup or layering of the graphite to develop our darkest tones. So real quick, I'm gonna demonstrate on my paper what that's gonna look like. We're gonna use 4 pencils. We have 4H. H stands for hard. So the harder the graphite, the lighter the mark. So we have a 4H. That's the hardest pencil we're gonna use. Then we have a 2H. That's gonna be the second hardest. We have an HB. B stands for black. That means it's gonna be a really dark graphite. So H, hard, and black. This is right in the middle. This is like a number 2 pencil that most of you use on a daily basis. And then we're gonna finish up our drawing. The darkest darks are gonna be done with a 4B. Again, the B stands for black. So here I have my pencils. I've made sure to sharpen them to a nice sharp tip. Be careful with the pencil sharpener. It will eat your pencil. I'm gonna start off with an 4H, and I've already gone into my drawing. I wanna show you guys that, let's see, right about there. You can see here that I've started blocking in the lightest tone here. When I'm doing this, it's gonna be really important how I hold the pencil. The closer you hold it to the tip of the graphite, the harder the pressure you're gonna have and the darker the mark it's gonna yield. The further you back off the pencil, the lighter the mark and the more expressive. So when I begin shading, I'm gonna hold the pencil very far back and I'm just gonna let that pencil skim across the surface. I'm gonna go back and forth really closely so that I don't have gaps in between my lines. When you take a look at this, you can see that it's a nice smooth application of graphite. I'm gonna come back and keep doing that layering process, building out from the edge. Once I get a nice even coat with the 4H, I'm gonna come back with my HB and I'm gonna begin that process again. Notice that when I use the same soft pressure with the HB and I start applying the value, that it's going to go darker faster because this is a softer graphite. I'll come back again with my, I'll do my 2H, then my HB, and then I'm going to finish up with my 4B. Here you can see the 4B and how that's going to yield a really nice dark mark without a lot of passes and without a lot of pressure. As you continue to do this, you want to keep building up your darkest darks and be careful that you don't overwork the lightest lights. We want to try and do this without smearing. I'd like you to demonstrate that you can control the material and not have to smear it around. And then also in the future, we're going to talk about using the eraser to lift out highlights and middle tones. But for this exercise, I'd really like you to try and master holding the pencil with a really soft grip and layering lots and lots of layers of really light passes of graphite. And then at the very, very end, we can come in with about a medium pressure to build up those darkest darks. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys develop with this. I think it's going to be a really great skill for you to have, and we're going to build on top of this later with how to take measurements and get things to look realistic. So this is shading, and I'm looking forward to our studio activity day. Thanks for your attention. See you later.